Greetings, and welcome back to another day of the 12 days of Christmas as we celebrate Christ's birth. You just heard this delightful Catalonian carol, the origin of which we're not really sure about. This is probably a carol that you might be less familiar with, called Cold December Flies Away. And it just has this very dance-like character that sort of rushes along towards the end of it. Sort of speeds up without actually increasing the tempo, just the way that tune is written. But very dance-like, very celebratory, and the text uses a lot of images from nature to describe the coming of Christ and also his rising at Easter. I'll just read a little bit of the hymn text to you. Cold December flies away at the rose-red splendor. April's crowning glory breaks, while the whole world wonders at the holy, unseen power of the tree which bears the flower. On the blessed tree blooms the reddest flower. On the tree blooms the rose, here in love's own garden, full and strong in glory. In the hopeless time of sin, shadows deep had fallen. All the world lay under death. Eyes were closed in sleeping. But when all seemed lost in night, came the sun whose golden light brings unending joy, brings the endless joy of our hope, highest hope, of our hope's bright dawning, Son beloved of heaven. Now the bud has come to bloom, and the world awakens. In the lily's purest flower dwells a wondrous fragrance, and it spreads to all the earth from the moment of its birth, and its beauty lives. In the flower it lives, in the flower, and it spreads in its heavenly brightness, sweet perfume, delightful. So you hear those kind of repetitions towards the end of the tune as the melody repeats itself, and we get this. So you hear those repetitions, and this probably proved quite a challenge to the translator of this hymn. And there's an interesting story that I just want to share with you about Howard Hawhey, who translated this. And there are a lot of connections with people here at First English, to Luther College. Many folks that I know have gone to school there, studied there, sent their sons and daughters there. Howard Hawhey went to Luther, and actually he was born in northern Iowa, grew up in a small farming town, and went to Luther, graduated in 1975. Well, Gracia Grindal was a professor of English there when he studied there. And of course we know her as a writer of many hymns and translator of many hymns in the ELW as well. But she knew of his study of Romance languages and encouraged him to try his hand at translating this hymn. And apparently during his senior year, he worked on the text for 3 solid days, giving 1 day to each verse. And he won a number of scholarships, and after Luther went on to study at the University of Iowa, lived in South America, spent some time on the Iberian Peninsula where he learned Basque. But just some interesting background there. I imagine it was difficult to translate this hymn from Catalan into English and still retain some of that flavor and find rhymes and maybe just fit that all together. So grateful to him for that translation and bringing it to us, to the ELW. That's delightful, dancing hymn that kind of sends us on into the new year. Cold December flies away. Merry Christmas to you all, and I hope to see you tomorrow.